Hey man, how you doing?
Not so bad. Did yourself?
I'm alright.
What you been up to?
Making sourdough.
Nice.
Yeah,
I've seen some of your photos. They're
yeah.
excellent.
Thanks. I'm quite pleased with Clint Eastwood the third. He's my he's the third attempt.
Sure.
Well, he's the third attempt named Clint Eastwood.
I see. And how many other attempts you had?
More than I care to say.
Sure.
There was one that we tried on for ages, and we thought, we'll just discard half and feed it, and
Sure.
just see if it will recover.
Right.
And then it would look healthy, and then we'd forget to do something with it, and then it would just die again. And
I see. That's a shame.
that was Joey Dosick.
Right.
No, the most healthy sourdough starter, but hey, Clint Eastwood the third is doing really good.
Thriving. Good.
What about you? What have you been up to?
Heaps. Honestly, just jam packed.
Cool.
And so much has happened that I can't even tell you any of it because there's so much.
All right then, let's just skip that.
Sure.
Hello, audience.
Hello.
Welcome to Box Talks with Unboxed, a maybe weekly podcast where we might talk about some stuff.
Or not, we'll see.
Or not. We now go to our news correspondent, Blair.
With me? Yeah, me with confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, this week in board game news,
Yep.
the Spiel des Jahres has been cancelled until next year.
Postponed until next year, right?
Yes, it's absolutely been postponed until the 2021 date of October, which is usually
until the next Spiel des Jahres.
Yep. However, the Spiel des Jahres nominees have been released.
Aye.
Yep.
Why don't you tell us about them?
Well, I was going to.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus. So, My City by Rainer Knizia was nominated. Got it. First try.
Nice.
Nova Luna by Yuri Rosenberg and Carly van Moorsel. And Pictures by Daniela and Christian Storr.
Nice.
My City is a competitive legacy game.
Cool.
Which is kind of interesting.
Very cool.
You don't usually get competitive legacy games. Everybody's trying to kind of co-opt as the game or sessions kind of continue. Mm-hmm. However, this has a reversible mode, so that if you don't like the legacy style of playing, you can still just play. You do need to play some amount of games to unlock that, but it's pretty cool. I think it's 4 games. After 4 games, you can unlock the non-legacy variant,
like the full version of the game.
Essentially. Yeah. Nova Luna is an abstract kind of tile placement, time management game. As the phases of them in progress. There's different tile placement rules and scoring mechanisms that take place. And Pictures is just bizarre.
Cool.
You need to recreate a picture on whatever card in whatever grid, using one of 5 materials provided.
You can only use one?
You can only use one. So you need to recreate the picture using one material.
Okay.
The materials being rope, stones, wood, coloured bricks, or icon cards. And that's cool. How you, and everybody tries to guess what you've tried to recreate using your material. Mm-hmm. But once that material is used, the next player can't use that material if you need to progress as such. But it sounds fun. Yeah, awesome. And it's clearly a Spiel des Jahres nominee for a reason.
Hey, cool. I like that. That sounds like one of the games that's good to introduce new players to.
Aye, absolutely. A nice kind of gateway game.
Yeah, nice.
Uh,
Um,
um,
and
so,
news along a similar kind of line as Spiel des Jahres being postponed, as the UK Games Expo got officially cancelled last week.
and not just postponed. Like it was
Not
officially cancelled.
not postponed until the 2021 UK Games Expo.
Right, yeah, see. Well,
But
that's good. That's
but
good.
just straight up cancelled.
Aye.
But they are the weekend that was supposed to be happening in August.
Thereabouts.
Yep. So good at research.
Yeah.
They are the UK Games
Like,
Expo people are broadcasting loads of stuff on Zoom, Discord, Twitch, YouTube.
nice. So they're still going to like put on a UK Games Expo, essentially,
Aye, of sorts. I guess
just virtually.
they're gonna showcase games and have like content for people to watch and consume. Yeah.
Well, that's still pretty good. At least you know there's still going to be something. Whereas Spiel des Jahres just
Right.
postponed.
Postponed. Aye.
Yeah.
They could at least have gave the like named a winner and like sent them the award in the post or something.
Well, the winner will be named in July for the Spiel des Jahres.
Oh right, okay, sure.
It's just like the nominees have been released.
Cool. So there's still going to be a winner.
There's still going to be a winner. The Spiel des Jahres like event, like the convention, essentially is cancelled until next year.
Aye, cool. That makes more sense. I thought they were just like scrapping it. No.
Well, why would they talk about the nominees then?
Just noteworthy games that came out. They got some recognition.
I suppose. But no, they're still going to announce the winner in July, but the event is cancelled.
Aye, cool. It's a shame. Some more delays. The news section is just what's been delayed.
I know.
But Cyberpunk Red and the Stargate RPG have been also delayed. Cyberpunk Red's been delayed until the end of summer, which
that's definitive. Yep, end of summer.
I know, right?
Like
it's so specific.
Period of time.
Especially because I think we're at the end of summer now.
Well, I think we're at the start of summer now.
And well, I mean, look at your windy. I think summer's by.
We live in Scotland, Ross.
Yep.
Well, I suppose summer's one day, so you're right.
But we'll be waiting in Cyberpunk Red for bloody ages. So I'm a bit gutted that it keeps getting pushed back. But it's today with like it's like an issue with our printing process. They kind of get the book printed to the quality that they want.
Well, I mean, it's still like that's good that they're postponing them instead of like just rushing it out, and like other companies do.
Like EA.
Yes, like EA, the worst of all the companies. EA, it's not even in the game. So
and the Stargate RPG, like
that's interesting.
Didn't even know it was going to be a thing
until you did your copious amounts of research.
Until I saw like the same article that said about Cyberpunk Red being delayed. It was like the Cyberpunk Red and the Stargate RPG are both being delayed.
Have they been made by the same company? Is that why they're?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I think Stargate. No, I couldn't have guessed the name of the company.
Yeah.
I was going to, but a Stargate RPG I think would be awesome.
Like would really lend itself to like timepiece like sections where you travel from this steampunk-esque place to medieval times. To
the jungle planet.
Sure. Yeah.
I like you say, it's going to lend itself really well to weekly standalone adventures.
Very episodic in their nature. It's going to be awesome.
Totally.
Looking forward to playing that. Would not be good at DMing that though. Like so much is happening. I want that. I suppose I would. But it's like one shot after one shot, right? So
kinda, but I mean, you can have an overarching plot.
absolutely. But,
like what the shady government's doing on Earth while you're out gallivanting around the galaxy.
sure.
Right? like Stargate issue 1.
Sure.
But I think that'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Also, the new Mythic Odysseys of Theros D&D supplement's gonna be out soon.
Cool.
Yep. And you can pre-order that with Unboxed by getting in touch and sending us a message or a carrier pigeon.
Any form of getting in touch is fine.
Yep. And if you do pre-order or order Mythic Odysseys of Theros from us, you get a 50% discount code for the D&D Beyond version of the book that you will have just bought.
Yep, you can buy it and then you can spend 50% less to buy it again.
Yep.
Marketing. Wizards of the Coast.
Okay, without further ado, let's welcome our special guest for the week.
Hello, Mr. Callum.
Hello.
Good evening, guys. How are we doing?
Yeah, doing good, man.
Good. I would love to tell you how much good I've been doing, but it's been jam-packed.
I can imagine, man.
Jam-packed with stuffs that I've been doing.
It's best we just move on.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. It would take up the rest of the podcast, I imagine.
Probably. I could make a series of podcasts on the stuff that I've been doing.
Just today, yeah.
You absolutely should.
Just today. The rest of the week,
how are you, Callum? How are you getting on?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Pretty good.
No. You been up to much?
Yeah, I'm one of the lucky few, or lucky in inverted commas, that can work from home. So yeah, just work.
That's pretty good. So sure, no needing to be out and about with public.
Yeah. Saves a fortune in fuel money.
I can imagine.
More money for games.
Sure. Games and snacks.
Aye. Games and snacks and stuff.
Snacks and stuff. Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about RPGs.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So do either of you have a favorite system?
I like the simplicity of D&D. Like, pretty easy to make a character and then just jump in.
Yeah.
There's no there's not a huge amount of rules that restrict your play, as opposed to previous sets or releases. But I'm enjoying a bit of D&D.
Yeah. I've only played a little of 5th edition, but it does seem to be nicely streamlined compared to I used to play 4th and 3.5.
Yeah.
They've certainly trimmed down a lot of the excess from that point.
Most of my introduction to D&D was AD&D 2nd edition.
Sure. Which is just tables.
Tables and calculators.
Like, I've got a kind of soft spot for THAC0. I do quite like the THAC0 matrix.
Yeah, sure.
but it's convoluted and doesn't need to be there. Like the
THAC0's a rite of passage. THAC0's a rite of passage. It really is. It's, if you can do that, you can do anything.
I know.
Totally. But 5th edition makes just streamlines that whole that whole system of combat. It's like roll your dice, and if you get above that armor class, then you hit. It's so much easier than having to work out what armor classes you can hit. And then roll the dice to see if you do.
Sure.
No, the jump from 2nd edition up to 3rd and 3.5 was revelatory. It really was. It's such a huge change.
I've never actually played 3.5 or 4th.
Well, I'm sure 3.5 spawned Pathfinder.
I've played Pathfinder.
Yeah.
They were I think people were saying that despite how big 3.5 was, it was so convoluted that they made Pathfinder so they could do more.
Whoa.
Right? And then Pathfinder's heinous sometimes.
Mm.
So like it's nice. Like you can do a lot in the Pathfinder, but that's
because there's rules for everything.
Absolutely everything.
Aye. Is there no like a page and a half rules on treading water or something? Something crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pathfinder's not one I've actually played, but yeah, certainly the character development and the additional rules seem to be probably weightier than they have to be. But thankfully, off the back of Pathfinder, we got Starfinder,
yes.
which is by and large my favourite setting at the moment.
Good
segue.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty flawless, to be honest with you.
Honestly, I'm such a big fan of segues. In the previous podcast that we had, like Bingham's segues into the next topic, but honestly, it was magnificent.
Thanks.
It was an art form. And some of them were just absolute garbage, but 90% of them were garbage. But like,
hey, but there was a few there. There was a few.
Sure.
You just live on the gold, man. You live on the gold. I mean, as my first ever podcast, I'm going to run on that one for like years to come.
Sure.
Milk it. Milk it as much as you can.
Honestly, that was excellent.
So Starfinder.
It's made by Pazio. It's takes off of the Pathfinder rule set and throws it into space, which
hurls it.
It does.
Hurls it into space.
my first ever game GMing Starfinder was in Unboxed, and I pretty much sold it to everyone as it's D&D in space. So
we all like signed up to then and there.
We were like, sure. Okay, yes, please.
It was great fun. It really was. It was a wonderful introduction to running the system as much as anything, because as with running anything, you do all your prep and then you start playing the game and realize you have not done anywhere near enough prep and just completely wing it for the majority of the game.
Or you line out a really nice like story arc, like this is all the stuff you can do. So long as you get through this door, everything's going to work out. And then your players are like, I don't want to get through that door. I'm going to do something else. And you're like, that was like 9 hours of prep just in the toilet.
That's why I packaged you guys onto steel pods and fired you into a derelict spaceship. There was no deviation there for a one shot. You're on the ship. You can go that way or you can go to the airlock. It's up to you, but it's going to be a short adventure. But no, the kind of freedom the system gives you is beautiful. It really is. It's a nice system to work with. You don't have
you don't have the constraint of one world, so you get many to choose from, which is nice.
Yeah. Which means you guys can burn them down if you really do choose to go that way.
Well, no, let's move on. We don't speak.
One was enough.
Never forget.
I mean, obviously you've got whole planets to play with, and doubling up on that, you've got a whole. You start with the solar system of I think it's 11 planets in total, and
there is an expansive universe out with the Pact Worlds.
You've got a whole wider, vast kind of waiting and an endless universe that you can do with.
Yeah.
One of the nice things as well is you've not only got that universe, but you've got it kind of expands the idea of the planes as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if you've got a universe for the material plane, you've got a universe for all of the other corresponding elemental planes that could be there along with.
Sure.
Although the rule set isn't particularly prescriptive about it, it leaves it open for you to kind of go and do whatever the hell you want with it. So
I think that's part of the joy of a lot of systems, is that they leave enough open for GMs to get creative with it and just like fill in those blanks, you know.
yeah, definitely.
I think Starfinder's an awesome system. Like I've said before, like there's a few kind of mechanisms and moving parts in there that are a wee bit hard to keep track of for me anyway. Like once it gets to a certain point, like I forget where all my modifiers are coming from. Like whether it's feats or racial abilities or theme benefits, or like there's a lot of stuff that's inputting numbers into your character's abilities, and it's like, oh Jesus Christ.
The character sheet is a bit a trip when you've got like
even at that. Even at that though, it's like it's still a much better character sheet than like Pathfinder.
It's still concise, but like
it's a lot more concise.
It's a bit daunting when you first see it though, because like for every like skill, you've got like a rank like space for how many ranks you want to put in it. You've got class bonus, you've got your stat, then you've got miscellaneous bonuses and all sorts of other stuff that you could add in. But so like when you see it, it looks daunting, but once you're used to it, it's actually quite simple.
It's actually been quite nice playing it on Roll20, because obviously the Roll20 ones, you know, simplify all that and kind of, you know, bring it all together for you. So that's had advantages.
I've run into a couple of issues with the Starfinder character sheet on Roll20. Nothing huge. It's just, you know, like fields being grayed out or something. Like I think it was the stamina points or the hit points. I couldn't get the total hit points to where I wanted it to be, and it was something to do with the formula for that field.
Yeah, the formulas on it kind of are a bit hit or miss. But yeah,
I'm managed. Online's fine. The only issue I've got is that I couldn't recreate it if I wanted to. Like, I don't know how I did it, but my character's fine.
That's fine, man. It just means you can't die, you know?
Like, once Scribbles dies, like, the campaign's over for me. I'm
done.
But that brings me to another question about setting. Like, if you've got a favourite setting, prefer fantasy or sci-fi or dystopian future, or like where do you like to play?
I'm a big fan of like steampunk stuff where you've got like the clash of technology and magic, and it's, you know, equal parts. But on the same vein with like Starfinder, it's been really nice being able to think of solutions out with the terms of like your physical ability, items that you can find, or just brute strength. Or magic, you can cast, or magic, yeah. So having like a technological kind of input is quite nice. So like you no longer need to like either pick the door open, like use magic to remove the door, or brute strength your way through the door. You can now like hack the door system, or get information by scanning stuff on your spaceship. Like that's really interesting, giving you a new like pillar essentially to complete a task, whatever the task is. I think that's like really nice. So technology's been like a big like boost for me. Having previously only really played like AD&D, D&D, and Pathfinder. Like in Starfinder, at least, like, I really like technology now.
Yeah,
cool.
I do like the ability to kind of bring in, especially as a GM, when you're, you know, making a planet or, you know, whatever else, or, you know, create a moon, you can bring in that kind of hard sci-fi aspect of it where you're actually going on, you know, like proper physics principles.
Sure.
Then you can bring in the kind of environmental aspects based on kind of real science, but still have that kind of, I suppose, nice kind of get out clause grey area, where you kind of, you know, stop having to explain it in science and just go magic.
I think environmental factors are like really cool when you expand from like a worldly setting to a system setting, like like a solar system setting, where you can now like play with zero G and being like without atmosphere. Like that's super interesting. Or low G even when you're like stuck in an asteroid. Like that's like bizarre like ways of playing D&D or an RPG.
It's great fun as a GM as well because you have that. I suppose there's a constant run of potential
death.
Potential death. Yeah. You guys fall out the spaceship. You're like two saves beds, and that's it.
Somebody either leaves to catch you, or you don't get caught.
That's pretty much it. It's a nice extra threat there with, you blow up your spaceship and you're gubbed. That's it. Job done.
Very true. That's very interesting.
Space travel's precarious and treacherous.
Yeah. But no, I mean, one of my other favourite settings has got to be the kind of dystopian future. I was gutted to hear that the Cyberpunk Red is going to be delayed because I've been hanging out for this for about 20 years. It was one of the first ever RPGs I ever played was Cyberpunk 2020.
Sure.
And awesome. It remains as one of my all-time favourites. It's just such a nice. The D10 system is such a nice, simple, quick pick it up and play kind of system.
Sure.
Yeah, it's actually we had one night where we kind of off the cuff, slightly drunk, decided we were going to play a game, and realised that nobody had dice, and fudged it through with a deck of cards. So you just take out your face cards, give everybody a suit, and that's your dice roll. You just shuffle through, play a card. That's your dice roll.
Sure. Oh wow. Yeah, that's a great mechanic. Oh, maybe the mechanic, but that's just a great jury rig of a D10 system.
Yeah, totally. That's clever.
D10's really good like that, and it's really good for a starter. I mean, starting out, I'm genuinely in awe of you starting out in 2.5 second edition D&D.
Yeah.
I started out in roll 1d10, add 2 numbers, and there you go. That's it happens or it doesn't. There's no tables, there's no additional.
Yeah, sure. Like when I was starting AD&D, like I also had like an older generation that had been playing before.
Sure.
Like my first game was with my big brother and his flatmate and a couple of others, his friends, and I played a skateboarding hobbit.
Nice.
Because I was short and skateboarded a lot.
Sure.
So it wasn't too much a departure to play that character, but like I had enough people around me that knew what was happening in the system to just say, roll that, add that.
The first RPG I ever played was the Dragon Age RPG.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Which is a D6 system, but it's like it's successes on like a 5 and 6, but because we're all new to RPGs and we're all playing for the first time, it was a shambles, an absolute shambles.
Those are sometimes the best ones, though, man.
Well, let us get comfortable with each other, like trying to role play as something that you played in a video game once, and so you knew what everything was in the world, which was quite nice, but trying to play a system that you just didn't know what was going on, suddenly it just kind of fell apart. But we progressed from there on to other RPGs, and it's been fun, a fun journey.
D6 system's pretty good fun as well. I mean, I had a little tinker around with Shadowrun, and I've got to say I got to a point where I went, nah, and just put it down. I really should have kind of persevered because I love the setting. I love the kind of merging of the tech and magic and that kind of almost cyberpunky kind of dystopian future.
Sure.
It's like throwing D&D 2,000 years into the future. You know,
aye, it really is, and it's such good fun to play with the setting. But another one, the D6 system that I did find was great fun was Paranoia, the Mongoose edition, which
awesome. That's so much fun.
Absolutely
wild.
When your brother like you said you planned playing a game of Paranoia, and I was like, sure, what is it? And your brother gave me a brief description, and I was like, I've not got a clue what's about to happen here. But let's do it. And then we started doing the character creation, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, I'll describe myself in like 3 words. Great. I'll use these like really nice things. And then you're like, yeah, pass it around, and everybody can like switch one. And I was like, mine was foolproof. Now it's broken at the wayside here.
The group character creation thing.
Honestly,
is
a joy. That is an absolute joy.
Yeah, I've got to admit that. I mean, the original one I played before was Paranoia XP, and it's a really good fun system, but it does lend itself to kind of more in-depth kind of character creation. So you can play it in a totally different way. You can play it very much kind of 1984, Big Brother is watching, that kind of, total bureaucratic nightmare, the computer is coming to get you kind of thing. For anybody who doesn't know, Paranoia is a GM's delight. Because you get to play the omnipotent computer who meddles with literally everything in Alpha Complex, which is a dystopian future where everything is broken. Nothing works. You don't know what you're doing, why you're doing it, what your equipment is, what it does.
And it's treason to question anything.
And I think like the real kind of selling point is that everybody has like hidden roles within their character.
Oh, aye.
And just trying to sell everybody out to to friend computer and stuff like that. So
that's kind of what makes it different from a lot of kind of RPGs. As much as it is a cooperative play game, you are effectively there to stab everybody that you're playing with in the back at some point without them realizing and stabbing you in the back first.
Excuse me. Everybody having a secret society affiliation and a mutant power.
Yeah.
And both of those things being treason is like so much fun to play with.
Absolutely. Because you need to like fulfill your secret society's like goal or further it at least, while still trying to remain hidden, even if it is like spray paint something on the wall like your insignia, and you need to like sneak away without it being suspicious, but it's always suspicious. So sometimes you end up
everything is suspicious.
Doing it in front of them, and you're like, "Hey, you never seen this? We absolutely seen that." Computer, God damn it! Just be nice to me one time.
One of the biggest joys of it is that you get 5 or 6 clones, so you can you can die 3 times before you leave the briefing room, and still play the game. So,
but you can also like sell off clones as part of character creation to improve yourself. And I think that's pretty nice. Like, somehow shortened your game time. Like, you need to be very careful with your one last clone because you're trying to get your chutzpah up so high.
I make good use of that extra point in computers.
I think that's really, really interesting. Like, it's character creation.
It's probably the most like unique system
much.
And setting that I've ever played.
I hope I never see like a spin-off Paranoia game where it's essentially a clone. I think Paranoia is on a pedestal for me, and I don't want anything to try and overthrow it. Never mind.
I mean, the XP system, the original one was, it was brilliant fun. It really was. It's very much more in depth though. The Mongoose one is a wonderful quick fire one. The introduction of the action cards and the ability to kind of throw in a card that either completely supports or utterly buggers whatever it is your colleague or you are trying to do at that point in time is just it adds so much more of a kind of quick fire environment for you can go through an entire combat without anyone rolling a single dice, but everybody throws cards in, and it's wonderfully well put together. It's really good fun.
I remember the first time we played Paranoia, our mission was to pull the plug. We didn't know what that was like at the time, and we knew there was some flooding happening, and then there was like a pirate ship standoff where we were floating on a desk, and somebody else was floating on a desk with like mops, and then you can just throw in action cards like, "Hey, I need an item, and it's going to be a fire extinguisher. I need it right now," and then it floats by you, you pick it up, you're like, "Yes, I've got the thing," and then somebody else is like, "No, you can't have that," or "It explodes." It's going to help us so much. It was super fun.
You can fall into a trap of trying to actually complete the mission quite easily. I'm not saying you shouldn't try, absolutely try, but
I've got to admit, my favourite all-time Paranoia adventure was one that I ran in XP, and the players were to deliver package to door number X, and they spent probably a good 3 hours arguing with each other, stealing the package off each other, killing each other, grassing each other up to the computer, and all assortment in between, until somebody finally snuck off with the package after having never been able to find the door that they're supposed to be delivering it to open the package and find that it was the number plate for the door that they were supposed to be delivering the package to. I actually had a player stand up and go, "I'm not playing this anymore." Walk away from my table.
That's a reason.
It was great fun. It really was. But it's Paranoia to a T. It is just the sublime and the ridiculous. It's great fun. It's so much fun to play and so much fun to GM.
And you would think from the name that it's going to be this like dark, like sci-fi horror type thing, when it's really not. It's quite jovial.
It sounds like it's going to be this Orwellian, like
Lovecraftian horror themed nightmare realm, but it's really not. It's so fun. It's so lighthearted. I fully believe that you could, but games we've been played.
I'd be interested in that, actually.
Yeah,
cool.
It's a really good one to play that way. As I said, the whole system lends itself wonderfully well to that kind of, as you say, the whole Orwellian Big Brother's watching, but yeah, I prefer the kind of ridiculous zap mechanics because it gives everybody the option just to kind of cut loose and do something daft with it. So.
Totally.
Each other some more.
It's honestly so much fun. And you're going to be running a one shot or two?
Yes.
A one shot or a two shot?
Depending on how long the characters take to create, and how
long they survive.
Yep, exactly.
Half shot.
2 hours and done.
How are you going to manage it, Callum? Are you going to roll 20 or just over Discord? Or?
I've put most of the resources into Roll20 as well.
Nice.
But we'll see. It's a bit of a test fire one to see how it actually works. And that horror or comedy like horror is kind of difficult to do over a camera and a microphone. There's a lot to be said for being at the table.
That immersion tends to break now and again when you're playing in front of a screen. So,
Cthulhu's a wonderful one, and Ross and I ran a couple of really good Cthulhu campaigns together. And it's one that I'd love to do over Roll20, but I'm not sure how it would work. That tension building and that kind of imposing atmosphere. It kind of the camera can kind of break that a wee bit.
A wee bit. I have been thinking about how we could go about running that that adventure again. Because Callum and I ran an adventure for 12 players over a single session.
It was really good fun to run because I mean it was 12 people all at the kind of one session, you know, 2 GMs co-GMing it,
Yeah.
and the kind of the theatrics and the immersion of it were great fun to actually play with.
Oh, I 100%. And I think that'd be a really difficult thing to achieve, like you say, ever Roll20. But I have been considering a few things.
Well, I don't know, like, because the handout system and the character sheet system can be set to be seen by ex-players. So if you have like duplicates, and so that some people can see like one portion of a text, for example, and somebody else can see like maybe some of that and the next part and stuff like that. Like it could work.
Aye, totally.
The handout system does seem to be pretty kind of useful in terms of certainly I use that a lot for the paranoia setup.
Yeah.
Sure.
You can have you know, your mutant powers and your secret society missions and things like that. You know, one of the best things about paranoia is you know, taking people away from the table, so that, you know, split the party, if you like, and isolate one player, and everybody else sitting at the table going, "But wait, why? What's going on over there?"
Showing a bit of dissent within the party is quite quite
I
cool.
suppose like you can be a lot more secretive on Roll20. Like at the table, you would have to like pass somebody a note or whatever. But on Roll20, you can like whisper directly to them over the mic. Can you do that in Discord as well?
I don't know. Actually, that was one of the ones I was considering using Roll20 voice system for, because you can isolate one player and speak directly to them while everybody else is kind of muted.
Yeah, without everybody else kind of suspecting that something shady's happening.
Sure.
It's a kind of a two-sided one, because in some parts of paranoia you want everybody else to suspect something else is going on. One of the best tricks in paranoia is giving somebody a handwritten note across the table, folded up, that says, "This is a handwritten note," and just watch everybody else go, "What was that? Oh, it was nothing."
It was a handwritten note. That's what it was.
I like kind of sowing dissent among the players is is bound to be a lot of fun for GMs. I've never ran paranoia, but I think I would enjoy it. What format do you prefer? In terms of do you prefer like a saga type campaign, or kind of episodic week to week, like mission by mission type stuff where maybe an overarching plot, or do you prefer one shots? Like there's so many ways to play RPGs that, you know.
I don't know if I could give you an answer.
No. Just love it.
Well, sometimes you've got like this saga, and you're like, oh, like I feel like I'm doing, like I'm a badass, and then you've got like sessions where, like you've got a shopping session, and you're like, well, I guess badassery will be on hold this week. Well, next week I should come back and be badass. Yeah, whereas episodic adventures always have loads of action, and maybe like in between sessions, that's when your downtime happens. Like, hey, I want to like spend like this amount of money on this, and I want to like research this, and I want to build this. Like, can I do that in the 3 weeks of game time that's going to be missed out in the week of actual real time? And sometimes like one shots are really like handy for doing bits and pieces when players can't make it.
No, definitely. I think like you can handle a lot of that stuff where like just at the start of a session go like, right, a week's passed, what would you like to have been doing? And then you can just kind of resolve that like within the first half hour of the session, I guess, and then go on. But like sometimes it is fun to have more kind of role playing sessions where like you're just in the town and interacting with NPCs and kind of doing investigations or kind of whatever.
Very true.
But I don't know if any of the things are really specific to saga or episodic. I think you can do like all the things in both of those formats.
I love. Yeah, you guys will probably know from personal experience. I love sagas. I'm yet to actually run a game where it doesn't, in one way or another, end up as a saga.
Sure.
Paranoia is probably the closest I ever come to it, because it's lovely and episodic and one-shotty and that kind of way. But yeah, certainly for the larger games, as much as the best intention might be to keep it to one session, I end up with grandiose plans and overarching plots and additional elements that end up taking it 20 adventures beyond where I'd originally planned it to go.
And sometimes it's the players that drive that narrative as well. In Mad D&D game, I haphazardly mentioned that a hag was trying to steal a young girl from the crib, essentially, and hags like to take children and turn them into hags, essentially. And the players then took it upon themselves to hunt across several planes a hag coven, and I was like, Jesus. I mentioned it once, and it was just to get you to chase somebody that's stealing the girl. And a year and a half on, they've still not killed the third hag because I've not ran the encounter. Just because it was never supposed to happen, and yet here we are.
Yeah. I love the build up in the sagas. I love the kind of the start off as kind of small ends, small time kind of street gangs or street crooks, or where your big build up is taking down a mafia boss or a quasi big one, and then the build up from there through the levels, up to the kind of into the teens where you're doing kind of world changing things, and I always find that a really big draw. I love the kind of big kind of dramatic climaxes and stuff like that.
In the case of Starfinder as well, the kind of sprawling space opera type.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
reality altering events that the players are able to take part in. I think that's a really attractive prospect for players as well, because getting to in the last Starfinder campaign, getting to interact and battle gods and gods for the Cthulhu mythos as well. It's although Starfinder incorporates the Cthulhu mythos, it's not quite a Cthulhu game.
Yeah,
it's not quite horror. It's just just big tentacly beasties, and you can smash them with your laser sword, and it's fine.
You can fly a starship into them, and it makes it all the more kind of tangible.
Suddenly, suns become weapons.
Totally. That whole last game with the Dyson sphere stuff, that was awesome, and that's that kind of culmination of a campaign over a year is such a satisfying climax. Again, when you get one that's written that well and that comes off as well as that one did, it's just so super satisfying as a player to be involved in that story and help tell it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as much as I did a lot of writing for the campaign and everything else, the real kind of enjoyment of the saga is letting the players take the story and take it in the direction that they see the story going in.
Yeah.
And invariably doing stuff that you completely and utterly did not plan for. As you said, Blair, go through the door, stuff finishes, and everybody goes, wee! It's and it's an absolute joy to actually, let players go and do and have that free reign. And I think that's why I really struggle with like modules and things like that, is because
sure, they're so limited. And
you try to keep the players in check rather than like reacting. Yeah, I think that's a lot of the fun of GMing as well, is like reacting to what the players are trying to do, and then going forward, shaping that story for the players in the direction that they're kind of pointing.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's a lot of fun for a GM. It's certainly sometimes a big challenge as well.
Very true.
It certainly keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, like really, like if they're doing stuff, you need balance. Whatever they're doing, like if they're doing like loads of good stuff, you need to throw loads of bad stuff in. They're doing bad stuff, you need to throw loads of good stuff in. If they're like getting their hands on all this powerful stuff, you need to knock them down a notch. Like there's a lot of balancing needs to be done in the game, and I don't know, like people that haven't DM'd may never realize that.
I would encourage everyone to, at some point or another, have a go at GM.
Yeah.
It's so much fun, and it's nowhere near as much work as you initially think it's going to be.
Especially if you start with a one shot and see how it goes, you can branch from there.
Yeah, start with a group of friends that you know, and just pick it up and go with it. It's just collaborative storytelling, and it's one of the best fun kind of experiences you can have.
Very true.
Absolutely. I think it's like a really good team building exercise as well. Like, see, I was thinking about it, and Kelly suggested it as well. Like, doing corporate team building events at the cafe, like maybe when we reopen or whatever. But like have that, like have a D&D experience as a team building event. I think that'd be awesome. Like for big corporations to come in, or no big corporations with no, like somebody for the mega corps.
Let's just set them up with Cyberpunk and let them go.
It's like IT crowd.
I absolutely like that. I think that'd be great. Like,
excellent.
Send a team, like, I don't know, the PR team or whatever, and like just come in and play D&D, and would just do like a team building exercise.
Sure.
Like save the princess. Work together as a team.
Sure.
I think I would enjoy that.
Yeah.
But I think that's all I've got. Like honorable mentions for RPG systems.
Army of Darkness.
Sure.
Nice.
Army of Darkness. They released a I can't even remember who it was. Oh, that's you there.
Oh, nice.
And it is, again, it's a D10 system, and you can play as Ash, and you have a feat that is called a big chin, and then a build-on feat from that is called an extra large chin, or a super large chin, or something like that. And you just give like bonus XP and points for like beautiful one-liners and things like that. It's one of the most entertaining muck around games you can find. It's really good fun.
Nice. I'm so into it. I love Bruce Campbell. I've got his autobiography. It's called If Chins Could Kill.
Really? Wow.
Outstanding.
That's great. But like Army of Darkness sounds like tons of fun.
Sure. I'm excited to try the Judge Dredd's RPG.
That looked really cool.
Like the RPG set out almost in comic book form in some parts.
Totally, I like reading through a comic strip telling you how the game works is quite cool.
It's quite unique. So I'm really looking forward to playing, or even DMing a game at Judge Dredd. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think like Call of Cthulhu we spoke about it a wee bit, but I genuinely love Call of Cthulhu, and like the kind of games that you can run with that mythos, like because you can run a future game or a space game or a 1920s game or an Egyptian game.
Sure.
You know, like that's really versatile in that way, and the lore of the Cthulhu mythos is just expansive.
Yeah,
you know,
Sure.
like
Yeah,
you say about Starfinder, like having so much fuel for the fire is just a boon to a GM. You know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when we sat and made up the kind of one-shot module that we ran, you know, it was beautiful to be able to bury, you know, 100 different Easter eggs that, you know what, maybe nobody will get them, maybe nobody will pick up on them.
But
it doesn't matter. We got it.
Sure.
Aye. It was glorious fun just to be able to have that huge expanse of kind of literature and lore at your fingertips, just to kind of bring in and play with.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, there's a lot of different versions of Call of Cthulhu as well. Like, there's fucking 7 editions of it now. And for the most part, it's like a percentile system. You know, like if you've got points in a skill, it's like, say you've got 20 points in spot hidden. Like, in order to succeed that check, you roll a D100, and if you get below 20, then you succeed. I don't know how much has really changed. I've not read every system. Like, I think 3rd edition and 7th edition are ones that I've used, as well as Cthulhu by Gaslight. And I, like, the last Cthulhu campaign I ran, I just kind of smashed that altogether.
Sure.
Just took bits that I liked out of everything, and like, but that's the beauty of stuff like Call of Cthulhu, when it allows you to kind of pick and choose what mechanics you like, and discard the rest. But like basic role playing, like the actual BRP system, is exactly that. Is you've got a list of skills, roll a percentile, get under that skill, and then you succeed. I think that's a beautiful system, like to use for, especially for settings that don't really have much in the way of RPG representation.
Sure.
Like I used basic role playing to run a DC Comics game.
Sure.
Like years ago now. And it was just like, I sat down with each player and said, right, what kind of character do you want to play? And we kind of workshopped like powers for that character to have.
Sure.
And it ended up being like everybody was way OP, and it just like, it was just
I mean, that's a fun, right?
bit of a shitstorm. I mean, kind of like a lot of the superheroes, they're all OP, and that's why they save the world all the time.
I'm a big fan of basic role playing because you can blanket it. It's blank canvas. You can just chuck whatever you want, and it will absolutely stick, which is nice.
It's nice having that simplicity of the system, that you can really focus on the other kind of elements of the game that's going to entertain you.
Absolutely.
Right. So, Callum, you're running your Paranoia game when?
Coming Thursday.
That's Thursday the something.
Thursday the check the calendar 21st.
Thursday the 21st of May.
The 24th.
21st.
Thursday the 25th of May.
Yep, that is what he said.
Sure.
At 6 p.m.
Cool. If you want to be involved in that, check out our Discords.
Yep, jump on Discord. And
the link to book in for the game will be on Discord.
Yep.
Check out our Facebook album store.
Yeah.
Like it's just an album of photos on Facebook. Like, you can look through that. So that's got all our stock on it. You can send us a message or carrier pigeon. And let us know if you want any games, and like even if there's not something you're looking for that isn't in that Facebook store, then
we'll try our darndest.
Send us a message anyway, and we'll try and get it in for you. If you're interested in Magic, play FNM on Fridays. We've got codes and stuff that we give you.
And they do things that we are aware of.
Yep. Follow us on the socials, on the twat book and the Faceagram. If you want to join the Discord, send us a message.
And we'll get somebody to set you up because we know how.
Yeah, and then we'll do stuff.
And stuff's important.
Yeah.
Yep. Stuff, things. We'll see.
Yep.
Stuff and things that are both important. Which is more important? You know.
We'll put a poll up.
We should.
We should absolutely put a poll. What is more important, stuff or things?
Aye.
Stuff and or things. Maybe. Well, we'll see.
Well, let's not get too complicated.
Sure.
Okay. Cool. So
thank you very much for having me, guys.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for coming, man. It's been a pleasure.
Aye.
And we'll speak to you soon.
Yeah. Wow.